Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, Orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there. Join the militia. Syracuse beats the Chokies in dominating fashion, 78-60, roasting the Turkeys in a total team effort. You like that? Roasting the Turkeys?
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you and fan feedback. And Syracuse will travel to Charlottesville on tomorrow to take on the 13th ranked Virginia Cavaliers. We'll tell you what we think about that. The win has pushed Syracuse up to 35 in the Ken Pom rankings and 36 in the net. So back up there in some decent territory, you know, for right now. So we will see how that goes. And the women's team, the last time we mentioned them, I guess, they were going in to play number 1 Louisville. They hung tight with Louisville for a little bit. It wasn't terrible. They didn't get slaughtered. But they showed up. Today they go and they worked their way back into the game today. Tiana Manjakahia, she ended up fouling out in overtime. They ended up losing in overtime. But,
Yep.
it happened. I think she only scored like 2 points, something like that. She just didn't have a good game, but still look
days like that.
Yeah, you're gonna have days like that. They still look good though. So anyway, what else, Joe? 'Tis it?
Yeah. So our next game is against Pittsburgh on Thursday.
Okay, Pittsburgh on Thursday. I kind of dig too the Sunday basketball game.
Early afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice when there's not, a ton going on. It's kind of nice. So, all right, let's take a look and listen to what Coach had to say after the win against Virginia Tech.
Obviously the defense, we started slow. We gave them 4 threes right in the beginning. And then the rest of the game, they were I think 4 for 25 because we just did a better job of getting them off their spots. The defense was just the difference. We made some really good steals. Marek was really good down low. And offensively, we wanted Marek to go against their bigger guy, and he got him in foul trouble. The guy's a really good player, and he got him in foul trouble, got him kind of out of his rhythm. And then Quincy, when they went small, Quincy just dominated inside. Again, Kadari came in, gave us a big lift at both ends. Got in a little foul trouble, but negotiated that. Allen was really good. This was his best overall defensive game, rebounding. He just was really solid. Buddy and Joe didn't shoot well. We didn't shoot well, but that's all right. Our defense was good, and that was the difference in the game. Again, I thought Allen was really good today. I thought he really rebounded. He just really did a lot of good things. And his last game was not good, and he really bounced back tonight with a really good game. Every game is different. Their strategy. They shot 37 threes against us last year and 34 threes against us last year. So we knew they were going to do that. They actually only took 29. So, but that's what their strategy is. They're going to try to score. And what happened when they did get inside, we made a couple really good blocks early. A couple really good blocks, and they missed a dunk. And then again, Aluma, he had some good looks in there. He was just in and out. But we're trying to have them make tough twos in there rather than open threes. That's the thing we don't want. We gave them open threes in the beginning, they can make them. So we took the open threes away, and then we, did a good job of covering up on their big guys, and we did a good job rebounding the ball. You hit it right on the head there. Allen was blocking shots all night. He's like 6'6" guy. He's blocking shots coming over. Marek's trying to stand the guy up, hold him, and then Allen's coming over and blocking shots. I mean, he did a great job. He really was phenomenal today on that defensive end, steals and blocking shots and getting up on guys. We did a really good job guarding their three-point shooters. They missed some that were open, but after you've been contested a lot, then all of a sudden you do get an open one. It's a little bit harder, but and they miss some. I mean, sometimes that happens. Sometimes teams make some against you, and sometimes they miss some, and they miss some.
All right, the Coach Montage is brought to us by Bet Online. You might not be able to get to a game this year. I see a lot of Bills fans over there in Arrowhead Stadium. They're getting it. Right now, it's going to be deciding the extra point. Deciding the extra point, it's going to look like 14-9 here. And he might have been down, I don't know. But a lot of Bills fans there, so they're getting to a game. But if you can't, head over to Bet Online. You can still get in on all the action over there. They're going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season. From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to BetOnline today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you. BetOnline. Okay. So, as I was, the good, the bad, the ugly, Joe. The list is long. Syracuse beats a ranked team for the first time this year, most notably. A total team effort, like I said in the beginning, the best full game I think I've seen them play all year. The Orange were 57% from two, going 24 for 42, leading to 46 points in the paint. Syracuse put a couple guys in foul trouble driving to the rim, 82% from the line as a team. Dolezaj, 18 for 22, by the way. Dolezaj, 8 for 8. He was fantastic. He was aggressive on offense. He finished with 18. Q, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 for 9 from the line. Griffin, he had a field day. You heard Coach talking about it. Put together a double-double, 15 points and 10 rebounds, actually 3 blocks away from a triple-double. That would have been something. Richmond, 13 points in 15 minutes. And again, the kid's a game changer. Period. I don't know what else to say. The battle of the boards ends up +2 in favor of the Orange. The bad, if I want to be picky, I would have liked to see maybe some Jesse Edwards get some burn, maybe a little bit. I don't know. It seemed like could have maybe would have, could have, should have. Yeah, he got 2 minutes. I don't even think he registered a minute. No, he did. He got 2. You're right. So the ugly. Tech came into the game shooting 46% from behind the arc. How about 8 for 29? That's only good for 28%. 12 of 32 from 2, 37.5%. The Syracuse defense, it was energized, it was active, and it made the Hokie offense look ugly. Joe.
Sir.
Syracuse has strung together 2 wins. And by a total, by the way, of 44 points. The offense has been good, but the defense the past couple games obviously has been exceptional. And how about the aggressiveness of Mark? Okay, because, we've talked about it. You heard Coach talking about it. He definitely hit a new gear against Virginia Tech, but can he keep it going? Because, the game plan was for Mark to do just that, and he went and executed it perfectly.
Yeah, to what Coach talked about, it's all going to be about the game plan. Every matchup's different. This is a good matchup for our big guys. He thought that he could get Aluma in foul trouble, and Dolezaj could be able to drive on him and take advantage of that situation, which happened. And it was just a good matchup for us. The last 2 games really were. But I just like the fact that we kind of transitioned the way that we played offense to kind of fit the matchup and to fit our strengths. You saw whenever anybody knew they had a matchup, they were trying to post up, get down low, take advantage of that mismatch. And we saw that because, when was the last time we've only taken 13 3-point shots in a game?
Hey, look, I know.
And I'm okay with that, especially in a game like this where they see what the weakness is and they attack it. We had 64 of our 78 points came either inside the lane or at the free throw line. So that's good. And we've talked about going to the free throw line more and getting those free points. And 18 to 22, that's pretty good, right? So, And just, again, you see the defense and the defense's activity. They're just way more active. 7 steals and 8 blocks to what Virginia Tech's 2 steals and 0 blocks. Virginia Tech, I think, had 10 turnovers to our 8, and we out-rebounded them. So usually when we win those type of stats, and that's kind of what the box score looks like, then usually we end up on top. But again, the weird thing was only the 13 3-point shots. But again, I don't care. Take it how we need to do it. The guards were shorter than us. Their forwards are shorter than us. We were aggressive. Quincy, again, looks like a man amongst boys. And, there's really nothing you can complain about as far as that game goes.
Yeah, not a whole lot to pick on. Like I said, it would have been nice to see Jesse get some burn a little bit. But, by the way, Syracuse has a team right now shooting 79% from the line. You got a few guys in the 80s, Joe at 84, Mark at 85, and Buddy at 87, and even Alan Griffin's at 82. So, That's essential, man, getting there and doing that. And I think it has to be, I know the matchups are going to be different and all that going forward, especially what we got coming up, and we'll talk about that. Because, like you said, the last 2 games were unfortunately bad matchups for Miami and for Virginia Tech. As good as Virginia Tech is, just not a good matchup for them. Great for us, obviously. So,
well, not when they're shooting threes like that too. So,
yeah, which they don't.
And not even that as much as Aluma. Coach talked about that as well. 1 of 10, and he averages 14. He's leading scorer of the team, and he had opportunities down there. They had opportunities, and they even had some open 3-pointers that they missed. They just didn't. The shots just didn't fall. Yeah,
1 for 9 for him. And you had, we start that game and got Aline. He hits it was 3 or 4 quick ones, and then that was it, pretty much. He ended up going 5 for 10.
5 of 10. He only had 3 points in the second half. So second half they found him in the defensive end. So
yeah, a really good game.
Yeah,
I was be lying if I didn't say I was nervous about it, and but we talked about it, Joe. We mentioned what the match.
Sorry, couldn't make the live, man.
By the way, yeah, that was fun. We had like 40 something people in there at one time. And I want to shout out to everybody who was there. A lot of good conversation in there, and just it makes the game so much more fun for me. I don't know what it's like for everybody else listening to me talk. I try not to talk, but as it is, it's hard not to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but it's definitely more fun if I've got a co-host with me, Joe. Come on. Step it up. Step it up.
I had some situations going on. So
yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's hear from you. It's fan feedback time.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
You guys know what to do. At the end of every game, I'll ask for your thoughts. Go there. Leave them. We'll look through them. Shuffle through them. Pick some at random. Read some of them. Bring those ones on too. Jesse, top fan on Facebook. I'm glad I don't want to just bash Joe because we just got our first good win of the season. Kadari exploits his mismatch, scoring 3 straight possessions after Q leaves. Griffin played great D and shot well. Quincy was the best player on the floor and established dominance, 20 points, 9 rebounds. Best rebounder we've had since Ty Roberson. But Quincy is more consistent and can do other things. He is great off the ball. He distributed well. Either his injury slowed him down. Yeah, he goes on. But yeah, last year, we were like, what is this guy doing? He just can't play. He just can't play, right? Well, boy, oh boy, did we see what he's like at full strength, huh? Without the groin injury that he suffered last year.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, he's a little tough on Joe a lot of times, and that's fine. I get it.
What'd I do?
Not the other Joe. Not the original JG. The JG 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So, he's hard on Joe. There's a bunch of us, the listeners that are kind of hard on him. But, he did just enough on defense for me to be satisfied with his overall game. Joe and we talked. He did make some mistakes, but he was very active on defense. And I don't know what it was, but I haven't really quite seen him that aggressive on defense, jumping passes and things like that. So
yeah, well, Virginia Tech early on, they had a couple little sneaky plays there where they were getting guys open at the top of the key where the three is, and the rotation at Syracuse, they weren't figuring out the rotation. And I remember specifically Joe missing a rotation, and Aline hit one right from just right from the top of the key three, and he immediately took him out. And I think it's good coaching as far as on the sidelines, because they coached it up and they were watching it with Kadari so that he knew what to do when he got in there, and you immediately saw him and the defense kind of changed the rotation to that play, and that started to help. And Joe, second half, he started to get it too. So I would have bashed. I mean, you can't. Okay, he scored 5 points. You can't get all excited about that. But
no, but if he's not scoring points in the past this year, he's not doing anything.
Right, and again, he's just still hucking too, right? So
sure,
going 2
yeah,
for
exactly.
5, 2 for 5. He realized it wasn't his game. He realized the matchup, and he ended up with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals.
It's awesome.
So he got in there and he did his little dirty work, and he was in there with Kadari sometimes. Kadari was in there with Buddy sometimes, and at least he noticed that that's what type of game it was going to be, and he wasn't going to be the guy shooting all the shots. And I thought he played really well.
The effort is free, quoting the original Joe G t-shirt. What do you think?
Hey, it was there tonight.
Hey, that's right. That was last
yesterday.
night. Yeah. Joe hasn't gone to bed yet. Bob on Facebook says, great win, but why no Edwards? Perfect chance to get him some minutes. Right, Bob? Right? Steven.
Didn't need him.
Yeah, well, it's not about needing him. Exactly. Steven. Top fan on Facebook. Great win. Much needed win. Both Quincy and Allen, I think, were big difference, plus excellent D. It seems someone lit a fire under Griffin, who had a great game on both ends of the court. Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting, kind of, and, you can't judge everything by one game, but we have been waiting for Allen to settle into his defensive role. And, it takes some time. What are we, 12 games in? How many games in are we?
13.
13, okay. So, I mean, that's about right, I think. I feel like that's fair, So, anyways, close to halfway through a normal season, and, that's... He's so talented, and he's just finding his way. But how about Marek and Quincy and Griffin together? I mean, they just put on a show. I would have to choose, in my opinion, Alan Griffin as the MVP of that game. I know you can make an argument for Dolezaj maybe and Quincy, but I mean, hell, Quincy, he's killing it every freaking game anyway.
Yeah.
Michael on Facebook, the most complete performance of the year by far. Seemed like every shot on offense was sinking and the defense was impressive and very active. Richmond looks silky smooth when driving to the basket. Let's take this momentum down to Charlottesville for another signature win. I am with you on that. That would be something else because obviously, now we're talking about beating 2 ranked teams in a row and on a roll, and especially away from home.
Both teams from Virginia, too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You would not believe the looks I got when I went to Lowe's after the game. I wore orange shoes. I'm like, yes, Syracuse beat Virginia Tech. Yeah, I'm wearing the orange shoes. I'm going out, and I'm going to make people...
But Virginia Tech's color's orange, too, right?
It's really not. It's really not.
It's one of them.
It's maroon. Which is
orange.
Awful. Letters are orange. Their colors are not orange. Their color is maroon. So anyway,
You're maroon.
Anyway, I saw a couple Virginia Tech fans, as I do every day with Syracuse gear. But when you can walk in the Lowe's with your chest puffed out, that's awesome. He's got a buy, sell, or hold here too. Richmond will be buy, sell, or hold, Joe. Richmond will be starting over JG3 by the end of the regular season. I'm gonna say a hard sell on that because what is going on right now seems to be starting to click. Bring them in when you need them, adds that extra boost, that extra momentum, and it seems to be working. What do you say, Joe?
I say that the only thing that's probably keeping him from starting is the fact that that whole offense, and if a team plays good enough against us and against Kadari, then he can really, really hinder your offensive game, especially if he's not hitting his outside shots. Now, he
did hit a three.
Really, well, that's what I'm saying, is he hit a three, and then he had that one little mid-range jumper that it was a shot clock violation, but he made it nonetheless. You can obviously see how smooth he is and how good he is when, he's driving, and then the defender, he doesn't give him enough room, and he gets by him and gets at a rim. He's just really, really good there. But if he can make a jump shot consistently to force that defender to have to step up so he can get that room, until that point, he's not going to be a starter. So Joe is going to have to, he's got the respect at 3-point line, and he's not going to be to a point where the guy that's guarding Joe is just going to let him just hang out at the 3-point line. So until that is a factor, then I still see Joe being a starter.
Yeah, absolutely. Mahir on Facebook, top fan. Love some Mahir. It was Griffin and Gary A show with the theme being the two Ds, driving and defense. 7 blocks for Griffin was awesome to see. It's nice to have a ranked win, and more importantly, to get the win exploiting a bit of mismatch inside. 46 points in the paint and only 13 threes attempted. One of the rare times I've been fine with this so far. Oh, and Kadari, man, New York City guards are different. His shooting stroke reminds me of Frank Howard his freshman year. Great length, awareness in the zone. He's like a spider sometimes, the way he moves. Yeah, he just gets it, man. He can stretch, and and he looks good doing it. Like to your point, Joe, and to Michael's point, how smooth he is. Just the way just his movements and everything, and he's just. We're lucky, and he's going to be another one of those. And Joe, you said this a couple shows ago. Enjoy him while he's here. Because the kid's going to be,
We'll see him next year.
We'll see him next year. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But we'll see what he does next year.
And next year is going to be a situation where Joe and Buddy are probably going to be splitting minutes at shooting guard off the bench.
That's definitely a possibility. That's when you get that different lineup that everybody wants to see immediately. Mm-hmm. At Oil Cuse on Twitter, our boy, he's a top fan too. I'm going to give Captain Patrick the top fan status, even though he's from Twitter on this one. But yeah, to be honest, Captain Patrick sends me a Christmas card. Joe, do you get a Christmas card from Captain Patrick or what? Oh, you don't? Oh,
nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Joe he's got about 25% interest in this show right now, because he is watching this AFC Championship game, and he hates the Bills, guys. So this is just another reason for all of you Bills fans to hate Joe.
Oh, you're going to use that against me. Okay. You know that I'm in a type of
answer my question.
League where I win money.
I understand.
Because one of my teams is Kansas City. So
I understand. Does Captain Patrick send you a Christmas card? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. All right, at Oil Cuse. Going forward, if we can keep the rebounding margin close, we win. Plain and simple, he says. I'm surprised we didn't see more Buddy Braswell. And when is Woody Newton going to get to play again? Look, yeah, you think about the UNC game. And what did we get? Crushed by like 17 on the boards or something like that. And how close that game was. And think about if we got half of those. It's a W, So, yeah, if we keep it close, we got a shot every time. I think so.
I think this year, too, our defense has corresponded with, like, the rebounding numbers. When we're not playing good defense or we're not out there giving 100% effort like we did and being as aggressive as we've been the past 2 games, then that's when other teams just beat you to the ball. And it's just seemed like there's certain games where other teams have just wanted it more. And that hasn't been the case the last 2 games.
The Pitt game, the first one.
Yeah. And Pitt Pitt's tough anyway, right?
Yeah, they're proving themselves, aren't they, Joe?
No, they did lose to Wake Forest.
They did lose to Wake
but
Forest. That was an anomaly, though. They beat Duke. They've been pretty good. I don't know
Right.
if Champaign had a good game against Wake Forest either.
So usually when we don't play good defense, it usually corresponds with getting out-rebounded pretty bad. So I think that both of them kind of work together. And again, that kind of stuff, it kind of works with your offense. You know, you get your confidence. When you get steals and blocks and stuff like that, that helps with the runouts. That helps with getting out. And, you know, that helps with your confidence on offense overall on the basketball court. So playing defense the way that we have, I think, has corresponded with our scoring and obviously the lopsided wins the last two games. But obviously, too, I'm not going to get too over excited because we have probably the best team in the ACC that we're going to be going to play tomorrow. And like I said, the matchups, these are two really good matchups for us. So let's see what happens when we play against a big team like we are tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. We will finish up fan feedback and we'll tell you what we think about UVA right after this. One more time, let's hear from the folks over at betonline.net, the title sponsor for the Cuse Militia and Armchair Media. Look, you might not be able to get to a game this year, but you can still get in on all of the action at betonline.net. BetOnline, they're going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over there today. BetOnline.net. Use the promo code Armchair and take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you. BetOnline. All right, Ski. Where were we? At Tony Staffieri on Twitter. I thought Mike Young got out-coached by not adjusting his defense. The Orange picked on Cone and Couture all day. This team played at a much higher level this week, and it started with cleaning up the defensive rebounding deficits. We remember Cone killing us. I don't know if it was last year. It might have been the year before. It feels like forever ago.
No, it was last year. He's only a sophomore.
Was it? Okay. So in Couture, I was on Twitter, and James was at the game, and he said that the ref told him to stop flopping. That's why there was a pause in play when he hit the deck. It wasn't because he was hurt.
No, I saw him. I saw the ref. He stopped.
Oh,
Stop.
really?
I was telling him to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, he told him twice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was funny. So, yeah, they didn't. I don't know if it's not that they didn't adjust or they just couldn't, because they were trying to, but they just couldn't. But
no, they did some things. They just didn't make the shots didn't fall.
Yeah, he's talking about the defense, but the shots weren't falling on offense, and there's not a whole lot you can do. If you've got a bad shooting day, then it's going to be kind of is what it is, right? And Syracuse did a great job there. So, at biggest Cuse fan, nice win for the Orange. They managed to win without making a bunch of threes. It was good. It was a good matchup for them, and Tech played no D for the last 5 minutes. Virginia is going to be tough, although Georgia Tech is giving them all they can handle. Yeah, I watched that game last night, and UVA ended up winning by 1. You had was it 2?
Yeah, 64-62.
Oh, okay. Well, you had Kahee Clark. Had a rough day, but man, those guys on the inside, and we'll talk about that here shortly. They're just brutal. Mm-hmm. At Cuse, Waterboy shot 51%, but only 4 of 13 from 3. When Cuse works into the paint and it doesn't just live and die by the 3, they are a dangerous team. Let's go, he says.
Whoa.
Read it as it's written, Sean, he says. Okay? Are you happy? Are you happy me dropping F-bombs and having to go back and bleep them out? Tony, does that make you happy? What are you groaning about? What are you groaning about? Shut up, Joe. He doesn't even spell it right, by the way. He doesn't even spell it right, by the way. At Ebola _ O, I guess. Great win. Jim has to know UVA is going to try that backdoor look play Virginia Tech did like 5 times in the second half. They didn't always execute, but it was there. Do you remember we have had problems with that in the past? With the little backdoor cut that we just get killed on. And for whatever reason, they leave it open. And I actually didn't notice that in the game, but if it's there, they'll expose it. That's for damn sure, especially as talented as they are. Let's see. International Jewish Sex Machine. Boy. All right. We got to build upon this win. Jim has realized that Richmond is that dude. Also, we need to play more consistent. Can't beat this Tech team, then go get blown out in the next game. Well, boy, a lot of guys a lot of these comments are looking towards the next game, and I don't want to just start giving it away here, what I think about that game, but I'll just say this, Richmond is that dude. He is. Plain and simple. That's all I got. That's it. That is it for fan feedback. Thank you to everybody who participated in fan feedback. Really appreciate it. Keep the buy, sell, or holds coming in fan feedback. I love that. It's fun. Especially, I know it's not easy to do it like every week for every game, but if you could, it would be great. So, anyway, all right, Joe, a quick turnaround, playing tomorrow night, number 13, on the road. The all-time series sits at 6-8 in favor of UVA. The two teams met twice last year, splitting away games. We all remember the first meeting. It was the first game of the year to open up the season last year, when Syracuse could only muster up 34 points against the vaunted Packline defense. Syracuse took the last meeting on January 11th of last year, 63-55 in overtime. Girard led the Orange with 19 points, and Dolezaj racked up 12 rebounds in that win. UVA currently sits first in the ACC. They're 10-2, 6-0 in the ACC. 6'8", 218-pound senior forward Sam Hauser. He leads the Cavs in points per game with 14.5. Adding to their defensive threat, another snag is their ability to score this year. I guess they could do it a little bit last year too, but this year they're pretty good. So far this season, they're averaging around 73 points a game. They're averaging 39% from the three, with Hauser, Huff, and Murphy averaging 41, 44, and 51 from behind the arc, respectively. Virginia is 9th in the KenPom rankings and 8th in the net, making this a quad one game on the road, obviously. And it's worth noting that this is also a quad one game for UVA as well. So, Joe, as it goes, most of Syracuse's success this year, which we've seen here, especially recently, is driving the ball and getting into the lane. UVA's defense is set up to just basically stop that, especially when you got 7-1 Jay Huff in there. They're gonna try to force us to score from outside. We know the woes that we've had there. So first of all, what should the strategy be? Okay, because if we're not hitting, Joe, then we have to do what has been working for us so far this year against a team that's probably the best at stopping it. So it's quite the dilemma. If you feel me?
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Well, so looking at this team, Virginia is, I think going back to last year, I think they're on like a 15-game winning streak as far as in the ACC, right? Yep. Yeah. Now, they lost Diakite from last year, but they brought in Sam Hauser, who he's a transfer from Marquette, had to sit out last year. He can shoot threes, 6'8", big guy. But when I look at their schedule, I'm not really impressed. Now, I know that they're 10-2, and they've beat, undefeated in the ACC. They've beaten Wake Forest, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Clemson, and Notre Dame twice. So they haven't really played any of the big boys, and they lost the game early against San Francisco, second game of the season, and then when they played a legit, number one Gonzaga, they lost by 23.
True that.
So I just don't know if they've played enough people or teams, I should say, good teams, to have everything that we talked about be accurate. Now, yes, of course, looking at their recent box scores, like Georgia Tech the other day, which is good because they have an earlier turnaround than us. I know we have an early turnaround, but they played it after us.
Yeah.
So
they gave them all they could handle
played,
too at home.
they only really played, 6 deep. So obviously we know Huff being 7'1", Hauser being 6'8", both those guys have shot a bunch of threes. Kihei Clark, 5'9" guard, but he plays good defense. He's going to be, see what happens with him and Gerard, but he shoots a bunch of threes. And then 6'3" freshman Reese Beekman and Trey Murphy, who's a junior, 6'9" guard. So I think that helps, and those guys are probably in there because of their defense. So we're going to see, but there's some names here that I just don't remember. And obviously, Morsel coming off the bench, he played 28 minutes last game, and I remember we talked about what Waldtanse or whatever last year. I remember we tried talking.
What was it?
Trying to. You try to say his name.
What's his name? Tell me.
Thomas Waldense. I don't even know. He's from Italy.
Anyway,
from
then
Bologna, Italy.
Hold on.
He played last year. He was a 3-point specialist, but he really wasn't that great last year.
Waldense.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, and he only played 1 minute against Georgia Tech, and Cafaro, a 7-foot sophomore center, came in and played 9 minutes for Huff. But they have a big team. I don't really know what to expect, to be perfectly honest with you. I just know that they're going to match up. They're going to be able to match up with us. I remember watching Hauser at Marquette. He's a good player. We know Huff is going to give us problems. So again, it all depends on the whole, defense and if we can get boards. Same thing that we've always kind of talked about. Looking at Georgia Tech, out of the 52 shots, Kihei Clark, Huff, and Hauser took 33 of them. So those are going to be your main guys you're looking at.
Oh, they take a ton. Those guys take a ton. Forwards.
And they take threes, and again, they don't really go deep. So if we can kind of play aggressive the way we have and get some of those guys in foul trouble, a Jay Huff or a Hauser in foul trouble, then obviously that would be beneficial for us. But I don't really think that this team is better than last year's team as far as Virginia. And I'm just waiting to see. I'm not going to sit there and say that we're going to win, and I'm not going to go on a limb or anything, but I'm just saying that when I look at who they've played and what their lineup is, I'm not necessarily sold on this Virginia team.
Okay, fair enough. Now, what your Coach Boeheim, okay? Coach Joe Boeheim. What is your strategy? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a plan A and a plan B? I mean, obviously you do. I'm just saying, what is your main strategy to start off this game? Because they did struggle to score last night against Tech, but they have been pretty good at scoring.
Right.
So, I mean,
I think it's the same thing, man. I think that Quincy, you tell Quincy to go at Sam Hauser, and you tell Dolzaj, hopefully he can get the ball.
Go at Jay Huff.
To go at Jay Huff. I mean, you got to try to do it. Again, he's quicker than Jay Huff, and if he can get the ball away from the basket, and there's not any really help, because you can't help on if some guy's guarding any of our other 4 players, you really can't help, and that's the one thing we have with our team. So again, it's finding the mismatches. If we're going to be able to take advantage of 5'9" Kihei Clark, or are we going to be able to drive on some of these bigger guys, maybe get them in foul trouble, because they're not very deep either.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, I mean, look, so obviously they keep 4 guys behind the arc, and they just clog up the lane. And, we saw how well Dolezaj and Quincy did getting some of these guys in foul situations. And I think you're right. I think that's what you do. I think that's what Syracuse is best at. Obviously, if there's shots open, you take them if you think you can hit. But I don't want to go down this road where that's how we start the game and then we fall behind and now we're trying to adjust. I think you do what you're best at, and you stick with that, and you just get them in a situation where they might have to play a little bit less aggressive on defense, because you're getting to the line. Like that's the bread and butter this year. That has to be.
Well, yeah, that's what we've been doing the last 2 games, that's what we need to do, especially when you're playing against Virginia and the way that they play defense. You can't force the issue too much and make bad decisions, but you also can't just settle for jumpers. So I think we've been getting better with that the last 2 games, and that's just what we have to continue. It might be difficult in the beginning, but
you got to stick with it.
You got to stick with it. Figure out what works. Figure out how to get the matchups and where the good matchups and the advantages and where you can get them. But you can't allow. And that's what Virginia does and has been good in the past, is that their defense and then just the way that they play, it just frustrates. It allows other teams to basically just get frustrated and start to play frazzled and just make mistakes. And you just can't do that when you play against Virginia, because most of the time they're not going to score enough to blow you out. So if you just stay patient and figure it out, you're going to be in the game with them. And you saw that with Georgia Tech.
Right.
So,
and that was when to International Jewish Sex Machine's comment about going can't beat Tech and then go and get blown out in the next game. That's kind of where I was at. I think that Syracuse can keep this game close because, let's be honest, if they play the defense that they've been playing and then they also stick with the offensive game plan that works or that has been working better, I think that this game stays close, and I think that gives them a fair shot even on the road. They do allow some fans there, but I'm not sure what the situation is because it just doesn't seem like there's a ton of them. So,
I like our chances.
I kind of do. I kind of do too. So no, I know you don't want to fluff it and then go in and get blown out, which. That's not how I feel either, Joe. I'm with you. I feel like this is not a great matchup for us as far as the defense goes because of the way our offense has struggled. But I think we figured something out, and I think we know, and I think Coach knows obviously what works. And I think there's a lot of options for Syracuse on the offensive end to where they can try to get something to work. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But
we get offense from everywhere. But when you look at a team like Virginia, it's really only coming from 3 players.
Huff and Hauser and what's his name?
Keehee Clark.
Yeah,
pretty much. You get your random 3-point shots from other players, but you look at Beekman. He played 39 minutes against Georgia Tech, had 6 points. So he's shot 5 shots. Murphy, same thing, shot 4 shots, had 3 points. And that's just not gonna. When you have to rely on 3 people, if we get one of those guys in foul trouble, it's going to be tough. If Keehee Clark went 1 for 10 against Georgia Tech, if he does that against us, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah.
So the one big thing, like we said, is it's defense and rebounding. So you got to keep harping on because we have the we have the guys. We're going to find something, And if they're on Joe and they can't figure something out, that'd be perfect to throw Kadari in there and have. Where's your matchup? Who's Keehee Clark going to guard when Kadari's in there for Joe?
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Clark's in trouble.
He'd have to go to Buddy, probably.
Yeah, he'd probably have to go to Buddy, which is not a great matchup for him. He's just probably a little quicker, but,
Well, that's fine, but Buddy's going to be able to get it to his spot and just shoot over him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, well, it should be fun. I wish we had more time to get the preview out. So,
It's 1 day turnaround.
Yeah, 1 day turnaround's kind of tough, but we will.
At least we're here, though.
Yeah, at least we're here doing it for you, but because we love it mostly. So, anyways, I appreciate all you guys. Look, we'll see what happens, and we will get back here as soon as we can. I just want to say thank you to Bet Online. Again, thanks to all of you who make it worth it and make it fun. We appreciate you. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
Peace.